everyone, and welcome to this episode of Rook's Entertainment Roundup. I'm Bob Rook. The Beatrice Community Players opened their first show since the COVID-19 epidemic, and it is called The Outrageous Adventures of Sheldon and Mrs. Levine. And here to tell us more about it is their artistic director, Jamie Ulmer. Jamie, thank you very much for being on. We appreciate you being on the new Roundup.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're glad you're here. How did it feel to be back indoors rehearsing a show after a long hiatus?
You know, it was this wonderful discovery of how great it is to actually do this again. Because, you know, like everyone, we had been shut down since March. So there hadn't been a live rehearsal going on in our space since then. And me personally, I had taken a couple of shows off before this whole pandemic hit. So I hadn't directed since October. So I was afraid I'd forget how to direct.
Tell us, I want to talk about the show itself, but before we do that, can you tell us kind of everything that you had to do to get ready and your space ready to do this show?
Community Players and in Beatrice, we're in a different health district. So we actually have slightly different rules than you've got in Lincoln and Omaha areas, a little more lax rules actually. But you know, we were still trying to follow the most stringent guidelines that we could to make sure that our performers and our audience could be safe.
What should the audiences expect when they come in? Will they be wearing masks, or
yes.
What's your protocol for that?
Yes, so our protocol is that all audience members coming in to see the performance must be wearing a face covering at all times.
Let's talk about this show. This is a show I wasn't overly familiar with, but it's a great choice to have for something to kind of what I've been calling baby steps back into the theater again. Let's talk a little bit about this show.
Yeah, you know, and that's a great way to describe this show and our whole process right now is baby steps, bringing it in, because we're testing all of our procedures on this kind of smaller scale production. So, The Outrageous Adventures of Sheldon and Mrs. Levine, a son's elusive search for his mother's happiness. But anyway, the show is told through a series of letters written back and forth between a very overbearing mother and her slacker, hasn't figured out what to do with his life son. And they have a very toxic relationship with each other, I think is the best way to describe it. So the whole show and all of their adventures are told through these series of letters. You know, it's kind of like the most twisted version of love letters that you could possibly think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
They travel the world in these wacky adventures as they write each other back and forth, and mom is like nitpicking everything he does, and he's going, "You're driving me insane, woman. This is the reason I left."
It's definitely a comedy where people can come out and feel good and escape things for a little while.
Yeah, that was one of the two conditions that I had when I was looking for a show to kind of have as a bonus event at this time. One, it had to be a small cast show. And two, it needed to be a comedy. We all need to laugh right now.
Exactly.
And I can only go and stand at people's windows and give them a laugh so many hours in a day. So we got to do a show instead.
How do people get tickets for this show, Jamie?
You can get tickets by calling our box office at 402-228-1801 or stopping by the old-fashioned way at the box office between noon and 5. But we are not doing online ticket sales for this production.
What is the website if people want to find out, knowing that they can't get their tickets, but also, however, to find out more information about this show and then some of your other upcoming shows that you've got coming up?
They can go to beatricecommunityplayers.com and find out information about this show, about our upcoming productions, and about everything that we've been doing. And also, starting on the Monday after this show opens, I look at my calendar to figure out what that date is. Starting on August 10th, they'll be able to purchase streaming tickets to the show. Because we did get permission to film the show. And so we're going to film opening night's performance, edit that all together, and then they'll be able to buy streaming tickets to watch that performance for the second week. So between August 10th and August 16th, they'll be able to watch a recorded performance of the show. You know, and we've heard from several of our subscribers and other patrons and community members who have really expressed gratitude to us that we're offering that as an option.
Good.
Because they still don't feel secure in coming to a public space with people that they don't know for a prolonged amount of time. Even though everyone will be wearing masks, everyone will be strictly physically distant. But we respect that. And so we really wanted to make sure that we could offer an online option.
Thanks for being on the new Roundup. It's your first time, so we'll have you back on.
It is my first time.
We get to talk a little bit more in depth with our folks, which I really enjoy too. So
yeah. No, the first time it was painless, and it was no regrets.
I won't hurt anybody. I promise you. Break a leg, my friend. We encourage everybody to head on down to Beatrice and see this great show. It's the live and performing arts, and there's nothing better than that. So head on down and see the show. Thank you very much, Jamie, for being on. We appreciate it.
You bet.
And here's the roundup for this week. The Beatrice Community Players continue their performances of The Outrageous Adventures of Sheldon and Mrs. Levine. Give their box office a phone call at 402-228-1801 to reserve your tickets. The Durham Museum in Omaha is now open to the public. Log on to durhammuseum.org to find out about all the great events taking place and the exhibits that they have going on right now. The third annual Wingfest will take place Friday night at 6 p.m. at the Haymarket Park. The Lincoln Children's Museum is now open. There's an array of exhibits and events taking place. You can log on to the website right there on the screen for more information. And the concert Night at the Cinema is being performed by the Lincoln Municipal Band Sunday night at 7 p.m. at the Antelope Park Band Shell. If you would like to have your events mentioned on Rook's Entertainment Roundup, please send them to us at least 2 weeks in advance to rooksroundup@gmail.com, and we'll try our best to get them on the program. And that's the Roundup for this week. Well, thank you for watching this episode of Rook's Entertainment Roundup, and also a special thank you to our guest, Jamie Ulmer. Please like our page on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, have an entertaining weekend.